Flight 827, Lexi's final birthday. Lexi had never been one to make a big deal about her birthday, but this year felt different. Turning 25 was a milestone, and her best friend Sky insisted they celebrate in style. The two boarded Flight 827, bound for Tokyo, eager to kick off an unforgettable girls' trip. Lexi peered out the window as the plane lifted off the tarmac. "To new adventures," she toasted with a plastic cup of champagne, "and no regrets." Sky clinked her cup against Lexi's, both giggling like teenagers. The first few hours of the flight were perfect. They watched movies, swapped embarrassing stories, and planned their itinerary. It wasn't until somewhere over the Pacific Ocean that the mood began to shift. The infection begins. A commotion near the back of the plane caught Lexi's attention. She turned to see a flight attendant rushing toward the cockpit, her face pale. "Did you see that?" Sky whispered. Lexi nodded slowly. "Something's wrong." Moments later, a chilling scream echoed through the cabin. A man stumbled down the aisle, blood staining his shirt. His eyes were glazed, and his movements jerky.
"Sir, please return to your seat," a flight attendant urged, but the man let out a guttural snarl and lunged, sinking his teeth into her neck. Chaos erupted. Passengers screamed. The infected man, no, creature, turned his attention to the next nearest person, who had no time to react. In seconds, two more people were on the ground, convulsing. Lexi grabbed Sky's hand. "We have to move, now." The friends ducked down and scrambled toward the front of the plane, dodging bodies and overturned carts. Behind them, more passengers began to twitch and groan, their skin turning gray as the infection spread like wildfire. "How is this happening?" Sky gasped. "I don't know," Lexi said, her voice trembling. "But we can't let it reach the cockpit. If they get to the pilots..."
They made it to the galley near the front, where a few terrified passengers and crew had barricaded themselves. Lexi scanned the supplies and spotted a fire axe behind a safety panel. She looked at Sky. "We're not going down without a fight." The cabin lights flickered. The moans grew louder. Lexi tightened her grip on the axe. "Happy birthday to me," she muttered. For the next 20 minutes, the galley turned into a makeshift fortress. Lexi and Sky, armed with whatever they could find, axe, serving trays, even a coffee pot, held the front line against the growing horde. They managed to hold off the infected long enough for a co-pilot to send out a distress signal. But their luck didn't last. One of the barricaded passengers panicked and made a run for the aisle. The zombies pounced. The brief opening allowed a flood of infected to rush forward. Lexi swung the axe, hacking wildly, shouting for Sky to fall back, but Sky tripped. Lexi turned just in time to see her best friend being dragged away by 3 of the creatures. "Sky!" Lexi screamed, lunging forward, but hands pulled her back, crew members trying to keep the line from breaking completely. Sky's screams pierced the cabin, followed by the sickening sound of flesh being torn. Lexi could do nothing but watch, tears streaming down her face. Sky looked at her one last time. "Run," she mouthed, before disappearing under a sea of gray, clawed hands. The cabin fell into silence as Lexi stood frozen. Only the whimpering of the few survivors and the distant growls of the undead remained. She gripped the axe tighter, numb and broken. This was no longer a birthday. It was a war for survival.